Good afternoon. Maybe before moving to the next step of the menu, a dedicated message to all of you. You can access to a direct chat if you want to ask any question, and especially to see how this can be answered during the Q&A. So please do not hesitate to use that chat. It's there for you, and it's also helping us a lot to understand better what are the key questions and how we can also improve ourselves. So let's go to the Sopra banking software part and maybe a step back onto who we are. And I would like especially just to keep two things in mind without describing all the detail. What is important to us, the first one is the number of clients. We have more than 1,500 clients. This is a massive asset for us, but this is giving also to us a massive understanding on the know-how around the banking processes and the banking services across the globe. The second thing which is important, we can say that Sopra banking software is looking and only looking at two business lines. One is dedicated to retail and commercial banking and mainly focused to Western Europe and Africa. And the second is dedicated to what we call the specialty finance, which is including asset finance, automotive finance, equipment finance, and that business line is covering globally all the world. So these are the two domains, and I should say only the two domains, and we want to stay focused, and this is very important to us. But maybe let me ask you just one question. Did you visit us last year at our first summit? It was in October, and it was for us a very important milestone. This milestone was officially giving to the ecosystem that we want to be part of this ecosystem, and even better, in the earth of this ecosystem, up to orchestrating part of it for the benefit of our clients. Few figures, we did have more than 5,000 participants, which was a good surprise, to be honest with you, and more than 30 C-level from our banks and financial institutions clients came and explained to all the participants their vision, how they do deal with the different challenges with us looking at their business. More than 50 partners were there, and I think it's important and also a very important milestone for our group. We know that today, without this ecosystem, we are not able to provide all the added value we would like to bring for our clients. So again, we will be doing the same this year, and I think we will continue looking at the success of this event. So that will be in October 2022, and especially for you, we are looking at the best way to dedicate part of it for your participation. So hoping to see you there in October this year. But the key question for us was why? Why looking at this ecosystem, and why putting us in that journey? One very important figure, and Nicolas did share that with you already earlier this afternoon, is when we are looking at the total interaction between the financial institutions and their clients, more than 95% today of these interactions are digital. This is a massive change, and maybe the COVID has improved this. Maybe there are a lot of other reasons, including the competition from the digital and web pure player. But this is a massive. But looking at what's the volume of revenue this is generating for these banks and financial institutions, it's only 10%. So there is a big dilemma there, and we did start to work a lot on this dilemma at the group level, not only at Sopra banking software level. And we strongly believe first that the 5-star app is largely not enough, but I think all of you are fully aware. But second, and it's maybe the most important thing, we strongly believe that we need to provide a strong combination between an engagement platform fully open to the ecosystem, bringing a lot more added value, new features, and with a very strong good time to market to deliver these new features. But this has to be strongly combined with the data and leveraging the data we have in the processing platform. Let me give you an example. We were talking about collection and ethical debt management. A lot of our clients are using our product, which is collection. But when we are looking at how much part of the data they are used in our product, not only to process the workflow and to process, I should say, the different features and operations they are expecting from that product, but just to see how they are reusing and leveraging this data to give a better service internally for the employee in the back office and or externally for their clients. It's less than 1%. So that means that we can bring that added value and then improve the click to cash at the end, as said by Nicolas, by combining these two very special approach, and we cannot take this separately. That's what we strongly believe. Let's have a look at our vision. As said also by Nicolas, but I think it's very important to repeat that part. When we are looking at the user experience, being a client or being a bank employee, they will compare that experience not with the experience coming from a peer meaning another bank or financial institutions. They will compare that experience with their own experience using Netflix and Amazon and whatsoever. So that means that that competition and that way to bring the added value in that experience, and I do insist, it's not only externally for the end client, this is impacting also the people who are working for the banks. So from that perspective, we do see 4 pillars which are very important. The first one is, and it's very well known to the market the last 2 years, it's the embedded finance. Looking at the embedded finance, so first this is a fast growing approach and journey to the market at the moment. But second, when we are looking at auto finance, for example, or when we are looking at payments, today we are already playing a strong role for these different institutions in this embedded finance. And again, when we are talking to a client or a big client, for some business domain, they will consider that they have to master their client and they will have to orchestrate and they will be distributing embedded finance coming from them or from others. And in some other business domain, it's a lot more difficult for them to master the client and they will produce that embedded finance for the benefit of another player. So this has to be part of our DNA. This has to be part of the way we are designing our product and services for the future. The second pillar is inclusive or inclusion. You all know that more than 1.7 billion people in the world today are unbanked. And it's not only in Africa. It's true in the US, it's true in Asia. It's also true in Europe. And when we are looking at this, there are 2 key questions. The first one is it source for growth for the banks? I should say for sure. But the second question is, what's their role, their responsibility in a sustainable world, bringing new features, bringing service, bringing added value to these people? And I think this one is fully linked to our DNA and our values. It's very important. And when we are looking at our client today, we do have already more than 30 microfinance institutions working and relying on our products and services, mainly on SaaS, but I will be coming back on this later on. Some of them are pure player on this microfinance world. Some others are subsidiary from tier 1 or tier 2 banks, where they do consider that if they are applying the traditional way to address that market segment, it's far too difficult for them. The third pillar is the efficiency. Usually everyone is saying it's obvious. It's obvious because first we need to reduce the TCO. The TCO has to be reduced to pay the investment on the engagement platform and not spending too much money in running the processing platform. This is one for sure. The second also, which is very important, is not related to the TCO from an IT perspective, but also from a human perspective, meaning that the size of the back offices, the ability to automate, the ability to reduce the number of clicks finally to deliver a back office action is becoming very important. We did engage the last 3 years and we will continue the next years to see the best way to reduce the TCO of our solution for our clients, but also I will be coming back into this, but also for us as we are more and more running our products to deliver that services to our clients. There is a second impact which is mainly linked to what we call the green bank. More we are able to increase that efficiency, better we are looking at the carbon zero objective, as we do have also at the group level. The last one is the humanized part. A lot of people are saying more you're digital, more the human interaction are bringing value. For sure, but when we are looking also at our experience, and mainly the experience of the last 40 years or 50 years, as said by Nicolas, we were coming from the processing platform, meaning that we have a strong knowledge on what we call the employee experience. And that employee experience, especially when we are orchestrating more and more services, and a lot of them which are digital, is something we need to take into consideration a lot more. So these 4 pillars are, I should say for us, the way to design the new services, the way to build a roadmap around these services, and also the ability to open all of our portfolio using API and increasing the time to market in delivering these additional new services. What's then the positioning for growth? We think that more and more, and even the tier 1 banks and financial institutions, will be consuming more and more what we call the banking services. Is it microservices? Is it business process as a service completely delivered in order to provide the business value which is expected? We are not fully sure on the way this will happen, but what is clear, more and more, our clients, the market, will be expecting to have a look at something like a store, and on that store they will be expecting to select and pick up different components or services. They will be expecting from us as a group also that it's very easy to be integrated, and then to deliver this additional added value on their system. So when we are looking at that positioning, there are, I should say, 2 parts. One is, what does it bring to our clients? And as I said at the beginning, it's maybe the strongest asset we have from the beginning. Our core, our processing platform today have been fully open using APIs, and meaning that even if this could take time to replace a back office platform by a new one, and where the return on investment could be very limited, we are already today, for some services such like open banking as a service, such like collection, but such like instant payment or request to pay, and I have a lot of others starting right now, we are able to bring that to our existing clients, leveraging what they do have today and where that processing platform is bringing the efficiency, but to deal with all the new challenges we were talking about for the last more or less 1 hour. So this is very important, and one of the key things is that today our portfolio has been moved at least into a cloud-ready mode with this API, allowing to deliver that value to our clients and or to the prospect when we do answer to RFPs. For sure, you could ask me, but this is only cloud-ready. It was very important to us to move fast cloud-ready, but where the services are expecting to have the benefit of the elasticity of the cloud, and especially all these new services we are talking about, they are on a digital native mode. And that ability to combine this is the way we do position our growth for the future. And for sure, the next question is obviously, where is the SaaS and the Sopra Banking Software SaaS strategy within what we are saying? As a matter of fact, today, we have more than 150 clients who are consuming SaaS services coming from us. Let's be very transparent. For some of them at the beginning, we were more in a defensive mode, and our clients were expecting from us just to deal with all the IT operations not being their core business. That was one way to start, but you will have some other example with James later on. But looking deeper, we are coming from, and there are still several contracts around this, we are coming from ASP or IP-led software up to real true SaaS, but only on a mono instance or mono-tenant way, up to the true SaaS on a multi-tenant way. And I should say that today we have more than 45 clients on a multi-tenant approach across more than 10 countries using these services on SaaS. So this is already a reality, and this is going to continue to increase based upon the way to run only one service and then to cross-sell additional service on top of this, or to bring what we call industrial business, much more as a business process as a service, up to running a bank, because the bank as a service at the end should be the target, or at least the critical target, looking at the next 5 to 10 years. Just to give you in a nutshell, and before leaving the floor to James, we have, as I said, 2 business lines. These 2 business lines are composed by the Sopra banking platform on one side, the Sopra financing platform on the other side. In common, we have the Sopra banking cloud platform. What does it bring? First, a unique ability to build our product, and it's the only way we are building our product for the future. But second, also a unique way to run our application for SaaS and for the future. Looking at the processing platform, you all know that we are coming from multiple stories, and this is also important strengths, keeping that in place with a clear roadmap, a clear journey, moving to cloud, and fully open with the API, then to continue to invest a lot more within the digital engagement where our ability to be in the heart of the ecosystem is bringing the value. And again, from that digital engagement perspective, there is a single way, such like the store where I was presenting just before. Whatever the processing platform is in place, we are able to come using this standard API with the same services which has been developed and which is delivered today. So that's where we are at the moment. And just to take a final example, when we are looking at the open banking as a service, we are perfectly fitting with that way where with our ecosystem we can access for aggregation to more than 5,000 clients in Europe, 5,000 banks in Europe, accessing to more than 500 million access for any client willing to access to the banks in Europe. And today, more than 35 banks are running that open banking service using different processing platform from us or from the others. And this is a 24/7 service on which we are able to implement, upsell additional services coming from the store in the future. That's what I wanted to say, and now I'm going to give the floor to James, giving you a lot more explanation around what we call the mobility and that mobility within the ecosystem. Thank you.